So what decision do you need to make? What do you have to have the courage to say no more? No, this is not healthy for me. No, this is not wise. Or yes, you don't even have to be no all the time. It's like, I'm going to say yes to myself. I'm going to say yes to my dreams. I'm going to say yes to my vision, and I'm going to move in that direction. So don't let where you are right now make you believe that the vision is no longer for you. Tap back into that vision. Tap back into that calling. Tap back into the essence of who you are, and trust that if it came to you, it was meant to come through you. Hey, what's up, and hear me out. You have big, bold, beautiful dreams. You are ready to move past the status quo, and yet life keeps lifing. And every time you think that you're going to move forward, something else reels you back in and calls you back into the ordinary and the mundane. Hey, I'm Roz Clark, Dream Doula and Transformational Strategies Coach, and I have helped so many artists who have gone on to star on Broadway, entrepreneurs who have built businesses and brands that are making a difference in the world, nonprofits that have raised millions and are transforming lives. And I want to share with you 7 practical steps that will help you move past life be lifing to I'm about that life. I'm living that life. I'm living my life like it's golden. And here's the thing, you need to, because the world needs to hear your voice. Your ideas matter. And that is what we need to do next. So look, let's jump straight into it. I'm going to give you 7 strategies that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. And I am going to be your guinea pig because I have done so many different things over the course of my life. I've had wins, I've had losses, I've had tragedies, I've had setbacks, and I've had incredible celebrations. And through it all, I used these strategies, and then I've shared them with the people that I've told you about, the people that I've helped. So sometimes, most times, you look at people who are already doing things that you admire, you aspire to, and you're like, wow, I so want to do that, but I don't even know where to start. And that doesn't mean that you haven't already been successful in your own field, but there's a big difference between showing up and building somebody else's dream and showing up for yourself and building yours. So you see these people who are doing this and you're like, where do I start? What do I do next? Or I've got too many things on my plate. So the first thing that you have to keep leaning into is resilience, because yes, life is going to keep on lifing and things are going to come up, and you are going to have things that are going to come against you. You're going to have things that you just had no idea would ever happen. And yet you have to make it up in your mind to be resilient, to keep moving forward no matter what. So like for me recently, I cared for my mother for 5 weeks on hospice, and then she transitioned, and I had to handle everything of, she was in Savannah with me. Her wish was to be buried in Pittsburgh. And so I coordinated all of that of getting her back home, putting everything together while people were like acting 50 shades of crazy. And what I had to do is have tunnel vision of, I'm on a mission to get this done, to do it with integrity, to do it with grace. And no matter what comes against me, no matter what crazy thing comes up, ain't nobody got time for that. And so that intentionality, that ability to be resilient, because I could have been like, oh my gosh, this is horrible, and how do I go forward? But she raised me better than that. And so during the time that she was transitioning, we talked and we spent time together, and I knew what her intentions were, and I knew that she trusted me and she was counting on me. And so I had to move past my grief, not denying it. I just kept moving through what had to be done because I knew that I could take time out on the back end. So resilience is a big thing. So instead of telling yourself the story about this keeps happening and this is coming at me, you want to just take a moment and say, okay, I can do this. I can get through this. I can make this work. And so that's what you do. And you find the people who are going to support you, and yet you stay true to your vision, to your intention, to the things that you know that you are capable of doing and that you're committed to doing. So, and one of the ways that you can do that for yourself right now is when you're going through a challenge, ask this question. I learned it first from Michael Bernard Beckwith. What is this here to teach me? What is this here to teach me? It's a much more empowering question than why do things always happen to me? Or how am I going to get through this? And so there's an energy around it, there's a curiosity around it, and knowing that if I ask myself, what is this here to teach me? The lesson will come forward. And with that lesson coming forward, the way through will come forward as well. So often we fight against what's happening to us rather than just taking a moment and saying, what is this here to teach me? And then that is where the place, the opportunity for your resilience to come forth. Because now, if you're dealing with it and coming from it from the perspective of, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm evolving, I'm able to make it through this, then resilience will serve you. So just keep asking yourself, what is this here to teach me? And do some journaling around it too, you know? And then another trait is vision. You have to have a vision, because if you just, I'm chasing like the next shiny thing. And again, like I said, when you're watching people, especially, content creators, influencers, leaders, thought leaders online, it's like, oh gosh, I want to do that. And yet, how do I get my voice out there? Because you have knowledge, that you have something of value to share. So if you get clear on your vision, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I so want to do. This is what is resonating in my very being, the essence of who I am. This is what's resonating. So I have this vision. So, and think about it. What keeps coming up for you? There's usually things that come up for us from the time that we were kids, from the time that we were younger, and it may come up in different ways. And yet there's a consistency that things keep coming up. That's your vision. That's your gift. That is your calling. And so when you can tap into that, like I said, because it doesn't even become, it is the essence of your being. So when you tap into the essence of who you are, it's easier to move through that, to move to that, to move in the direction of your dreams, to figure out what is the next right step, because now you have a vision. You have clarity on your calling. So you keep moving forward. And while things will change over time, the vision stays consistent. And that's the beauty of it. Like I think about who I was as a younger person. I was always the one of, oh, let's do this, like those old movies. Hey, kids, let's do a show. I was always coming up with creative ideas. How am I going to create something? How am I going to bring people together? And because I am a creative, I was always just like, what's next and whatever. And so I had this vision. I had this vision of me first being on stages as a performer. And I grew up in a working class, blue collar neighborhood. So people from where I came from didn't do what I was thinking of. And yet it was just in me. I had to do it. I had to sing. I had to dance. I had to be on stage. And from that, I ended up turning 21 in Paris. Like that was like that pull that I had. I was on tour in Paris, turning 21 in Paris, and I continued that through message, that through line in my vision. I did that. Then I came back to the States. I got married. My son was born with special needs. And so I had to change my goal. I had to change what it looked like, not the vision. I still knew that I was meant to share. I still knew that the arts were important. So now, because I was in and out of pediatric intensive care wards, I wasn't able to go touring. And so I created a regional company to help other people live their dreams. And I got to perform from time to time as well. So I stayed connected to that vision of the arts. And now here I am. I'm still in front of a camera. I'm still sharing. I still speak on stages. So that vision has stayed consistent for, 50 years. From the time I was little until now, the vision stays the same. So don't let where you are right now make you believe that the vision is no longer for you. Tap back into that vision. Tap back into that calling. Tap back into the essence of who you are and trust that if it came to you, it was meant to come through you. So you want to make sure that you're continuing to move in the direction of your dreams, So you've got resilience, you've got vision. And here's the thing, faith. Faith. Just believing whatever your belief system is, be it God, Buddha, Krishna, the universe, whatever your faith vision is. And if you're like, girl, I don't believe in none of that, then you got to believe in yourself. So like that's the work. You believe in that older, wiser version of yourself, that inner knowing that you have. So it comes down to faith. And even that, it's an evolution. Like I grew up typical, grew up in the Black Baptist church, singing in the choir. I said I wanted to be on stage. And so I thought I was going to grow up and be, Diana Ross or Patti LaBelle, and change gowns every two songs, and it wasn't. I ended up being a classical soprano. And yet I still did manage to have a career where I changed gowns every 2 or 3 songs because like that was my thing. And I loved it. And so I had faith. I had faith in my gift. I had faith in my calling. I had faith that, moved me, like that mountain moving faith, that ability to come from a place that says, girl, don't nobody here do that. And me saying, I don't care. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to grow and make it happen and see my vision come to life. So what is it that you lean into? Like when you feel challenged or when you are doubtful, where can you place your faith? And even when things seem like nothing is working, when we can look back, I love how coming through from the church, the old saints used to say, my soul looks back and wonders how I got over. So if you look back, like the worst thing that happened to you, you came through it. That thing that you thought was going to take you out, you're still here. So sometimes we just need to take that moment and reconnect with our faith, not church, not religion, not ritual, unless it's a ritual that you've created for yourself that connects you to the divine. But it is you knowing there is that part of me that is connected to something greater than I am. And that something greater than that I am, is calling me, that's bringing me forward. It's bringing my gifts forward. It allows me to say, I'm not sure how, and yet I know it's going to work out. So staying connected to your faith. And the next thing was courage. These are the things that brought me through. These are the things that helped me move through challenges. So, and we all have challenges throughout our lives. And so courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the ability to say, I'm going to do it even though I'm afraid. I'm going to do it even though I'm unsure. I'm going to do it because I have to. Like there is something in me that says I have to. And so when you connect with that part of you that you're like, you know what, I want this. I want more, and it's okay for me to want more. I want different, and so it's okay for me to have different. And even in that difference, sometimes we're in situations that we don't need to be in anymore. So for me, it was a 30-year marriage. 30-year marriage that was 50 shades of crazy. And so I came from a belief system that said, I said I do, so I got to do forever. And then finally I was like, if I say I do and they don't, why am I staying? If I say I do and I am suffering, why am I staying? And so having the courage to say, you know what? I get to do something different. I get to say this is no longer for my best and highest good. I get to say I'm done. I'm out and I get to leave. And so first I had to work through my own stuff, my own ish. And then I was like, oh no, 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 no. I am going to be the best and highest version of who I'm meant to be. And this situation does not serve that. So it is okay for me to say, I have done everything that I can do, and I'm not doing anymore. I'm done. So it doesn't have to be something that drastic. For some people, you need to leave a job. You need to leave the circle that you're in. You need to leave some people in your family alone because there are these norms that we get caught up in, like, well, family is forever. Not when family is trying to hurt you. That's not forever. You don't want that forever. So, whatever that thing is right now that you need to look at and say, what do I need to do differently? What is for my best and highest good? Am I honoring the gift within myself if I stay in this situation? Whew, that touched me. Like that question. Am I honoring my gift by staying? And if you're not, then figure your exit strategy. My maternal grandmother used to say, you take your hand out of the lion's mouth slowly. So you don't have to just one day say, I'm done, I'm not doing blah, blah, blah. No, you come up with a plan and you move in a way that honors your gift. You move in a way that honors your calling. And yet you're brave enough to make that choice. And I remember, when I was leaving, and people knew me, and the marriage looked like Shangri-La on the outside, and it was again 50 Shades of Crazy on the inside. And so people were like, "Aren't you scared? Like, aren't you scared after all this time? And aren't you scared to leave?" And I was like, "No. What I'm afraid to do is stay and let my life end this way." And so I found the courage to do better, to want better, to have better. And when I tell you making that decision, I went through some challenges afterwards for sure. And yet it set me free. It was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And it moved me to this portion in this time in my life of serving, of supporting other people. While I was helping other people live their dreams, I was in a nightmare. And now I'm living my dream and helping even more people live theirs. So I've been able to expand my gift, expand my vision, expand my service, and I'm serving people who love and appreciate my gift. And so we can do it in a way with ease and help them move into their next gift, their next opportunity of greatness. So what decision do you need to make? What do you have to have the courage to say, no more? No, this is not healthy for me. No, this is not wise. Or yes, you don't even have to be no all the time. It's like, I'm going to say yes to myself. I'm going to say yes to my dreams. I'm going to say yes to my vision. And I'm going to move in that direction. So to have the courage to ask those tough questions and then begin to move in that way. And trust and believe, I got support. Did all the things before I left. We did therapy and all of that. That didn't work for him, but it did work for me. And so, and then when I started building a new business, I got coaching and support. So build your inner circle, build your team, but have the courage to move forward. And one of the other things that's really, really going to serve you as you move forward is being creative. Creativity. I mean, the world is built on creativity. It's built on a dream. Like I said, I'm a dream doula. So I help people to reconnect with and then live into their passion and their purpose. They get to reconnect with their dream and then live that dream out. And so that ability to be creative, that ability to tap into what your gift and your calling is. And so and it evolves, because like I said, I started singing. I started as a performer, and then I went on stage. And then after I got married and my son had his health challenges at 8 months old, he had his first seizure at 8 months old. And then I was in and out of pediatric intensive care wards, with them telling me he wasn't going to make it. And here's the thing, he's 32 years old, living a special needs life, but he's here with me. I'm taking care of him by myself because, his father tapped out, and that's okay. He's here. And so I was able to do that. And so in that process, I tapped into my creativity over the years. So first I was creative on the stage. Then I created a nonprofit to help other people to live their dreams. So I raised money for my nonprofit and other nonprofits, and I was able to move forward that way. Then when I left the marriage, I did entrepreneurship all my life, but I really doubled down on entrepreneurship. And so I kept being creative. I kept being resourceful. I love how Tony Robbins says, it's not that you need resources, you need to learn to be resourceful. So if you don't have the resources at first, like we all need resources, but if you don't have the resources at first, you need to be resourceful. And so being creative, creating those opportunities. And fortunately, one of my gifts is building relationships. And so I partner with people and I help, because when I partner with people, I'm not asking them for something. I'm saying, how do we work together and both achieve our goals? So again, that creative thinking. So when life shifts, when challenges come up, when tragedies occur, that's your opportunity to be creative. You asked that question that I said before, what is this here to teach me? And from that answer, you get creative. You start creating that next great iteration of your life. And that's what makes life beautiful. That's how we live into and honor all of us, the totality of who we are and who we're meant to be, and the relationships that are healthy and affirming and that we bring value to, because it's about reciprocal value. You bring value, you share value, people pour back into you, whether it be in the relationship, whether it be in business, but that reciprocal experience is just the beauty of life. It is just the friggin' beauty of life. So creativity, be creative. After me, you're first. Yes, after me, you're first. Do you want to just say that out loud sometime? Like, you have been there for everyone else. You have checked all the boxes. You have done everything by the rules. You have played the game according to the rules. And yet now you're in that space that says, is this all there is? There's got to be more. And here's the good news, there absolutely is more. There is more joy, vibrancy, and purpose available to you. And you just have to stake your claim and say that very thing. It's my turn now. And I created the Awaken Your Dream virtual retreat to help you do just that, to reclaim your dream, to reclaim your voice, to create the impact about the things that matter most to you. You've done all the right things, and now it's time to do right by you. This is your chance to step up, to move forward, to embrace those things that you are so passionate about. And to be honest, the thing that the world needs most from you and for you right now. It's okay to do what matters most to you. It's okay to make sure that you're okay. So join me for the Reclaim Your Dream virtual retreat. It is the reset that your soul has been longing for. Together, we will map out your next. We will name your next and map out your next. So click the link to get more information, and I look forward to seeing you and serving you. Be well. Peace. And then, aligned with creativity, what I always say is tell a better story. And of course, that resonates for me because I am a storyteller, because I am creative. But here's the thing. Stories have been a part of humankind since people were drawing pictures on a cave. Like, we have always told stories. That's what makes humans so unique, our ability to tell our stories. And our stories inform, they inform tribe, they inform relationship, they inform self-identity. So that story that you tell, because the way we tell our story helps people to identify with us. So when we talk about tribe, we tell a certain kind of story, or we use a certain vernacular, or the way we flow. Because like I said, so growing up in the church, there was music that was relative to my experience, my cultural experience. So it was very different than to become a classical soprano, because the music was different. And yet that was what my instrument was made to do. And so I was able to take the essence of who I was, the essence and understanding of the voice, the soul, and bring it to classical music. And one of the greatest to have ever done it was Madame Leontine Price. That voice is a gift, just a beautiful gift. So she brought what she came from into this other genre, and she just created timeless magnificence. And so telling that story. So, and it's not just telling a story on the stage, it's also us telling a story of who we are, how we show up in the world, how people can find us, how they can identify with us. And that's one of the things, it's one of the gifts and the curses of social media, that we can find our tribe. Now, there's some dark stuff out here too. And yet, for those of us are living in the light and being the light, we get to shine our light so that people can be drawn to that instead of, spiraling down into the dark places. So that story that you get to tell, that gift that you have, that message that is uniquely yours. So again, when I was saying, like, don't look at people's highlight reels and think that you're behind. No, dig deep into who you are, what you do, how you show up in the world, and let that be your guiding force and your guiding light. And then the last and most powerful is self-awareness. One of my favorite lines from The Lion King is when Mufasa tells Simba, remember who you are. When you have self-awareness, it doesn't matter what anybody says about you. It doesn't matter what comes against you. When you are anchored and clear and certain in who you are, you can move through every situation. You can walk away from situations. You can tell people, I'm not here for it. I'm not trying to hear it. And it's not about being difficult. It's actually the opposite, because when you know who you are, you don't tolerate foolishness. You set up healthy boundaries. You don't let people deposit their darkness or their disillusion or whatever their experience is. You don't become a dumping ground for them. And so when you start putting up boundaries, yes, you will come against resistance. And yet that's when you can stand 10 toes down, like, that is not what I'm about. That is not acceptable. That's not what I'm willing to accept. That's not who I am. That's not how I show up in the world. And so you set these wonderful, healthy boundaries, because now you're self aware. You're living and operating in integrity. You're true to who you are. So while life continues to change, we continue to evolve. There is that core of who we are, that standard by which we live. And when you are self aware and it's like, this is who I am, this is how I show up in the world, this is my standard, and I'm not willing to accept or participate in anything less. That is when the magic happens. So, all of these things that I have used, that I've shared with my clients, are tools that are available to you today. So these traits that I've shared with, resilience, vision, faith, courage, creativity, storytelling, self-awareness, they're not unique to me. Have I mastered them? Absolutely. That's why I share. That's why I'm here. Is my makeup artist used to tell me, I'm here to help you. But that's why I'm here. That's how I show up in the world. That's what brings me joy, because I want to see other people have that experience. So no, these are not unique to me. They are available to you, and they can be the bridge from where you are now to where you want to be. These are some of the tools that I use in my Reclaim Your Dream virtual retreat. I typically work with high performing women who are in transition, and I help them to use these tools so that they can identify what they are most passionate about. They can identify what's no longer working for them, what they want, what their next looks like. I always say, name your next and then move into it. And these are the traits, these are the tools, these are the tactics that I use in this course. So if that's something that you're interested in, there's a link somewhere in the description, or you can leave a comment below. Hit me up over on Instagram, DM me there at Roz Diva Nation, and I'm happy to share the information and see if you're the right fit, if you're a right fit for that next step. So, whether you come and take that deeper dive with me and accelerate your process, or you just, come back and bookmark this and, get your journal out and start doing the work, start moving in the direction of your dreams. The world needs your voice. It's so important for you to be heard, for you to share what matters most to you, because there's somebody who's waiting to hear from you. So just like I've been able to support and serve you in my content and my clients in my courses and my classes and workshops and all of those things, there's something that you are called to do as well. And we need you. We need to hear from you. So if you haven't already, make sure that you hit like and subscribe. And look, if there's somebody that you know that would benefit from hearing this message, definitely share it with them. We are going to change the world one comment at a time, one kind deed at a time, one piece of content at a time. And when I tell you, the world needs us now more than ever. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for staying with me. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to continuing to serve you. And I remind you now, as always, continue to think big and dream even bigger. I'll see you soon. Peace.